big news in my life that probably is only big news in my life and about 100 other people on the planet. But while I've been traveling, and we knew it was coming, and my set's been ordered, but while I've been traveling, the ECM volumes for Mark came out. Aren't you all thrilled? You should be. Let me explain why. ECM, as you probably know, or as you've heard me say in the past, but if you're new to the program, ECM is Editio Critico Major. It is the currently most exhaustive, full edition of scholarly edition, critical edition of the Greek New Testament. Right now, only Mark, Acts, and the general epistles are finished. I think John's next. But it's all due by 2030. So it's going to have to start coming a little bit faster than it has. I was told when I was in Munster in January of 2019 that Mark was done. Well, it took over 2 years for Mark to see the light of day, even though it was done in January of 2019. And so the printed edition is on its way, and who knows, maybe it'll be there by the time I get back. But the electronic edition is already available. So it's been a long time. So let me show you what the ECM looks like. So here is Mark 1:1. And this was, of all the variants in Mark, and I've had very little time. I've had no time since this became available just a few days ago to look up other particularly interesting variants in Mark. But thankfully, the first one that comes up when you bring it up anyways is one of the most interesting variants in the Gospel of Mark. Some of you will recall that in my debate with Shabir Ali in 2006 at Biola University, this is a variant that Shabir brought up. And of course, I knew about it, but it was one that he quoted. And so I was very interested in knowing the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And so in the ECM data, which includes the CBGM data as well, you define where you are by the word positions. So the space before is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, 7, 8. And so it's positions 12 through 16. That might be somewhat counterintuitive as to why they do it that way, but it's the only way to actually make it work. So some manuscripts do not contain the Son of God. Or some manuscripts have Son of God without. So for example, here's the A reading is Huiou tu Theou. So Huiou tu Theou, the red up here. Huiou tu Theou. Son of God, here's the reading. Son of God, but without tu Theou, these manuscripts. Son of the Lord, 1241. The Son of God, 32740. No Son at all, just simply the one of God. And then it's omitted by Sinaiticus, 038, 28, 1555, and lectionary 20, 2211. ZZ means these are manuscripts that will be cited elsewhere in Mark. Notice my precious little P45 there. But of course, that means it is not contained in this particular manuscript. And just notice something in passing, because I mentioned this on a program last week or before. Notice the first 4 here, P45, P84, P88, and P137. All the papyri, there are only 4 papyri manuscripts that have any portion whatsoever of Mark. And all of them do not contain this. Why? Because it's the very beginning of the book. And as I said, beginnings and ends of books are most likely the ones that will be damaged in that situation. So the point being that the ECM does have Son of God in its reading. You'll notice here is the local stemma. So the idea here is the original text, the Ausgang text, leading to the A reading. The A reading is Son of God. And then all the other readings are derivative from Son of God. And then you have your coherence at variant passages. This is looking at the consistency of, it's called coherence between manuscripts. I won't go into it right now. We still need to do more of this in the future. And then your coherence in attestations. And I can't even notice how I have to scroll just in light of how many manuscripts we have for Mark to show where they all fall and how they are related to one another and things like that. Now, I'd have to drop down to where P45 is found, because then you can see where it fits into this schema of things. That's going to be one of the main things I need to be working on myself. And then here is general textual flow. Again, I do notice that this is much larger, much wider than in the pastoral epistles and in Acts, because we just have so many more manuscripts of Mark, obviously, than we do the others. But so obviously, this is, CBGM is not the end of the discussion. It's the beginning of a discussion. But one thing that is very, very important about CBGM is that we now have a generally available computer database, and when it's finished, of the entire New Testament, available to anyone, that is far more in-depth, far more specific than we've ever produced before, that we've ever even dreamed of before. It's hard for me to explain, honestly, what textual critics only 60 years ago would have thought of what we have today, let alone the Erasmuses and everyone who came before. Looking at what we have now, it's just like, it's astonishing. And apologetically, having that kind of information is vitally important.